Hi guys. The game finished 0-0 with Leicester. I watched the first half live in a pub in Edinburgh. Just got home and watched the second half on record. I mean, what to say about the game? I guess you've got to look at its progress because the defending against Liverpool was absolutely diabolical. This week we had Laurent Koscielny back in our ranks, and I think we benefited from that massively. I thought he was largely excellent. A bit of a surprise to see Rob Holding selected alongside him. What that means for Callum Chambers, I don't know. If Arsenal can sign a centre-half in this last couple of weeks of the transfer window, you wonder if Chambers might be loaned out. I don't know. Maybe that's ridiculous given the lack of numbers, but I think it's pretty telling that Holding with such little Premier League experience started ahead of him today. But having Koscielny back was a huge boost. He went with Coquelin and Xhaka, which is a very combative pair in the middle of the park. I wonder as well if it's an influence that those two, despite not being the tallest, are actually pretty good in the air. I wonder if that was a consideration for Arsene. They've both got a decent spring, good upper body strength. El Neni maybe less good in that part of the game. So that's potentially why Alexis continued up front. A 0-0 at the Champions, it's not in itself a poor result. So I think, the real disaster was losing to Liverpool last week. I think we all would have probably taken a draw against Leicester, especially given that, Vardy and Mahrez were always going to be super motivated for this game. And when Vardy went clear in the first 20 seconds of the match, you did fear the worst. But Arsenal recovered and were defensively a little more solid, although perhaps lucky not to concede a penalty in the second half. I think what's more interesting is Arsene Wenger's post-match comments in which he's talked again about the pressure from the supporters to buy. And he's implied that those fans who want the club to spend money are, I think he said, hugely influenced by the media. Now, I don't dispute for a minute the influence of the media, but I do find it frustrating to hear Arsene talk in such disparaging terms about the opinions of the fans because he himself has effectively acknowledged that the club need, say, a striker in trying to sign Jamie Vardy, in trying to sign Alexandre Lacazette. To now, as he did in his press conference on Friday, claim that Alexis is going to be some great centre-forward and don't worry, we've got Danny Welbeck back at Christmas and Chuba Akpom and Yaya Sanogo in reserve, is a nonsense. The club acknowledged they needed a striker when they tried to sign Vardy. To try and brush that off now and pretend it's not something the club needs to do is absurd. And it's his own actions that have confirmed the fans' suspicions that we need a striker. So when they, then call for one during the match, don't ridicule them for that. I think we're seeing in these first couple of games that if anyone expecting Alexis to be an immediate solution at centre forward is going to be very disappointed. It's failed as an experiment in the past, and to be honest, I see no reason why it won't fail this time. He's got a lot of the technical attributes, he's got the speed, but in terms of his tactical intelligence and his discipline, I'm not sure he necessarily has what it takes to play that centre-forward role. I'm not sure he has the desire to, and I'm not sure that it gets the best out of him. I think he's better coming from deeper positions. So, not convinced by that at all myself. And as well as Rob Holding did today, and Arsene seems frustrated that people aren't talking him up, to expect him to get through an entire Premier League season, or at least half a Premier League season as first choice, is crazy. Arsenal need to do business in what's left of this window. And I hate to finish a game and do a video that's supposedly a match report, really, talking about that, but there's no way around it, because Arsenal haven't got it done. And that's the most important thing now. Really, it is. And it's very, very strange to read comments from Arsene Wenger saying how the first priority has to be making sure the club's 600 employees are all getting paid. This is a far cry from a few years ago when Arsene Wenger and even Gazidis were talking about the potential for the club to do things that would excite us. Now we're talking about paying the tea lady. I mean, of course, all those people are incredibly important, but the fans know more than anyone how wealthy this club is because they're putting so much of the wealth into it with the season ticket prices. So don't suggest for a minute that we're struggling to pay people, especially if you're the one on £7 million a year. It's ridiculous, and one of those things that makes you wonder if Arsene's slightly lost touch in his isolation at the top of the club. Anyway, a point is better than no points, so I guess we'll call that progress. Bye.